The morning light caught the steam rising from my coffee cup, and for a moment, everything felt exactly as it should. Then my daughter's car pulled into the driveway 3 hours early. "Mom, we need to talk." Jennifer didn't even knock anymore, just walked right in, her heels clicking on the hardwood floors my late husband had installed 40 years ago. "I've been thinking about your situation." My situation. As if being 62 and widowed was a problem needing her solution. "Good morning to you too, sweetheart." I kept my voice steady, the way I'd learned to do over these past few months. "Coffee?" She waved it off, already pulling folders from her designer bag. The one I'd noticed cost more than most people's monthly groceries. "We don't have time for that. I need you to really listen this time." This time. There had been many times lately, times when she'd suggested I was forgetting things, times when she'd implied the house was too much for me, times when her voice had that particular tone that made me feel like I was the child and she was the parent. "I'm listening," I said, settling into my chair by the window, the one that looked out over the garden where Tom and I had planted roses the year we bought this place. Jennifer sat across from me, arranging papers on the coffee table with the precision of someone who'd rehearsed this moment. "I've found a wonderful senior living community. Assisted living, really nice. They have activities, meals prepared, medical staff on site. I'm 62, Jennifer, not 82. Mom." That tone again, patient, pitying. "We both know you're struggling. The bills piling up on the counter? You forgot to pay the electric bill last month." I hadn't forgotten. I'd been traveling to visit my sister in Colorado, but Jennifer hadn't asked about that. "And this house." She gestured around like she was identifying problems I'd somehow missed living here for 4 decades. "It's too big. The maintenance, the yard work, the stairs. What if you fell? I walk 3 miles every morning. I think I can handle stairs." She sighed, the kind of sigh that said she was dealing with someone unreasonable. "I know change is hard, but I've already done the research. There's a community just 20 minutes from my place. You could see the grandkids more often." I hadn't seen my grandkids in 3 months. Not since Jennifer decided they were too busy with activities. "And the best part?" She slid a paper toward me. "I found a buyer for the house. A family friend, actually. They're offering a fair price, and they can close quickly. All you have to do is sign." The paper sat between us. I didn't touch it. "You've already found a buyer." I knew you'd be resistant to change, so I wanted to make this as easy as possible. She smiled, the kind of smile that probably worked in her real estate office. "You don't need to worry about anything. I'll handle all the details, all the paperwork, everything." "That's very thoughtful. I'm glad you understand." She pulled out another document. "This is just a power of attorney. Temporary, of course. It'll let me manage the sale, set up your new place, handle the financial transition. You don't need to stress about any of it." I looked at my daughter, at the woman who used to bring me dandelions from the yard, who I'd taught to ride a bike on this very street, who I'd held through heartbreaks and celebrated through triumphs. "You don't need a lawyer, Mom," she said, her voice soft, almost kind. "Just trust me. I'm doing this for you." I picked up my coffee, took a slow sip, and met her eyes. "I think I'll get a second opinion on that." Her smile tightened. "A second opinion?" "Mom, I'm a licensed real estate agent. I've already consulted with legal counsel. Adding more lawyers will just complicate things and cost you money you don't need to spend." "Nevertheless, Mom," she leaned forward, her hand covering mine. "I know Dad's death was hard. I know you're not thinking clearly. That's okay. That's why I'm here, to help you make good decisions when you're not able to." There it was, the thing she'd been building toward for months. I wasn't capable. I wasn't thinking clearly. I needed her to make decisions for me. "What's the offer?" I asked quietly. She brightened, thinking she'd won $350,000. I know it seems low, but the market's soft right now, and the house needs updates. Kitchen's outdated. Bathrooms are from the 80s. Honestly, they're being generous. Tom and I had renovated the kitchen 5 years ago, the bathrooms 3 years before that. Jennifer had been at the opening party we'd thrown, and the senior community? $2,000 a month. But don't worry, after selling the house, you'll have plenty for that. $350,000 for the house. $2,000 a month for the community. That would last less than 15 years, even before considering my other expenses. I need to think about it, I said. Mom, I need to think about it, Jennifer. She gathered her papers with sharp, frustrated movements. Fine. But the buyers won't wait forever. They have other properties they're considering. She paused at the door. I'm doing this because I love you. I hope you'll remember that when you're being stubborn. After she left, I sat very still, watching the roses move in the breeze. Then I picked up my phone and made a call I should have made weeks ago. Sarah? It's Giselle. Yes, I know it's been too long. Listen, I need to ask you something. That real estate appraisal you mentioned, your firm does. I think I need one. Sarah Martinez had been my friend since our kids played soccer together. She ran a small real estate firm across town, the kind that actually knew the neighborhood values. She arrived that afternoon with her camera and measuring tape. Giselle, your house is gorgeous. When Jennifer said you were thinking of selling, I was surprised. This place is your whole life. What do you think it's worth? She walked through each room, made notes, took pictures. When she finished, she sat with me at the kitchen table. Conservative estimate? $575,000. Could go higher with the right buyer. This neighborhood is hot right now, and your updates are excellent. $575,000. Jennifer had said $350,000. If someone offered you $350,000, what would you say? Sarah's expression hardened. I'd say they were trying to rob you. Who made that offer? A family friend. Through Jennifer. Giselle. Sarah put down her pen. I need to tell you something, and I hope this doesn't upset you. I heard something at the county recorder's office last week. Jennifer's been pulling property records on this address, multiple times. And she's been in some financial trouble. Her husband lost his job 6 months ago, and they're behind on their mortgage. The pieces clicked together. The sudden concern for my well-being. The urgency about selling. The low offer from a family friend. How far behind? Foreclosure notice behind. I'm sorry. I know she's your daughter. That evening, I made more calls. To my lawyer, Richard, who'd handled Tom's estate. To an elder law specialist his firm recommended. To the county clerk's office to check on something that had been nagging at me. What I found made my blood run cold. Jennifer hadn't just been pulling property records. She'd filed a petition for guardianship, for me, claiming I was mentally incompetent to handle my affairs. The hearing was scheduled for next month. I was still sitting with that information when my phone rang. Mom? Just checking in. Have you thought about the offer? Jennifer's voice was light, casual, like we were discussing dinner plans. I have some questions. Of course. That's why I wanted to come over tomorrow morning. I can walk you through everything. Who's the buyer, Jennifer? A pause. I told you, a family friend. What's their name? Why does that matter? I'd like to know who I'm selling my home to. Another pause. Longer this time. It's the Mitchells. Todd and Amanda Mitchell. You met them at the office party last year, remember? I didn't remember any Mitchells. I'd never been to her office party. And you're getting a commission on this sale? Mom, that's standard practice. I'm still your daughter. I'm still helping you, while also making money from it. You know what? Her voice sharpened. I'm trying to help you, and you're treating me like I'm some kind of criminal. Maybe those memory problems are worse than I thought. Maybe that guardianship paperwork isn't premature after all. She hung up, and I sat there, understanding finally how far this had gone, how far she was willing to go. The next morning, I called Jennifer back. told her I'd thought about it. And she was right. I was ready to sign. Could she come over tomorrow with the papers? Her relief was audible. Oh, Mom, I'm so glad. I was worried you were going to make this difficult. I'll bring everything tomorrow morning, say 10 o'clock. We can get this all wrapped up. Perfect. I'll make coffee. You don't need to do that. We'll just handle the business and… Jennifer, I'd like to make coffee for my daughter. Okay, Mom. 10 o'clock. After I hung up, I called Richard. Can you be here tomorrow at 9:30? And bring Maria from the Elder Law Division? Absolutely. Are you sure you want to do it this way? I'm sure. That night, I didn't sleep much. I kept thinking about the little girl who used to help me garden, who'd bring me flowers and tell me I was the best mom in the world. Kept wondering where that girl had gone and if she was still in there somewhere. By 9:15 the next morning, I'd made coffee and set out cups. At 9:30 sharp, Richard arrived with Maria Chen, a specialist in elder law and exploitation cases. Thank you for coming, I said. She'll be here in 30 minutes. Maria set up a small recording device on the table. Are you absolutely certain about this? Once we start down this path, I'm certain. She filed for guardianship without telling me. She's trying to sell my house for $200,000 under value. She's lying to me about buyers and offers and my own mental competence. I'm certain. Richard squeezed my shoulder. Then let's make sure we're ready. Jennifer arrived at 10 exactly, carrying a leather folder and wearing her best sales smile. She froze when she saw Richard and Maria at my table. What's this? Jennifer. You remember Richard. He handled your father's estate. And this is Maria Chen. She specializes in elder law. Mom, I told you, you don't need lawyers for this. But her voice had changed. Higher, tighter. Why don't you sit down? I said gently. I made coffee. She didn't sit. I don't understand what's happening here. I asked you to repeat what you said yesterday, I said. About me not needing a lawyer. This is ridiculous. I'm your daughter. I'm trying to help you. Are you? Maria opened her own folder. Because what we're seeing looks less like help and more like financial exploitation of a vulnerable adult. Excuse me? The property appraisal you commissioned, Richard said, sliding a paper across the table. It valued this house at $350,000. Interesting, since the actual market value is closer to $575,000. And this purchase agreement you prepared, Maria added another document. The buyers listed are Todd and Amanda Mitchell, who, according to county records, don't exist. Jennifer's face had gone white. I don't know what you're talking about. Really? I kept my voice level. Because I called the senior living community you recommended. They've never heard from you. There's no reservation in my name. I hadn't made it yet. I was waiting for… And the guardianship petition, Maria said quietly. Filed 3 weeks ago, claiming your mother is mentally incompetent, without her knowledge, without a doctor's evaluation, without any actual evidence. She forgot to pay her electric bill. I was in Colorado, I said. Visiting my sister. You knew that, Jennifer. I told you. And the bills on the counter, Richard continued. Your mother's bills are all paid automatically. Those papers were from her investment accounts, which, by the way, show she's more than financially stable. Jennifer looked between us, trapped. You're twisting everything. I was just trying to help. Help yourself? I asked. Sarah Martinez told me about your mortgage, about the foreclosure notice. Silence. How much do you owe, Jennifer? That's none of your business. When you're trying to steal my house to pay it, it becomes my business. I wasn't. She stopped, sat down heavily, put her head in her hands. We waited. 200,000, she finally whispered. We're 200,000 in the hole. Brian's been out of work for 8 months. The kids' school tuition, the car payments, everything just spiraled. So you decided to sell my house. You're sitting on $500,000. You don't need this much space. You're alone. And I'm drowning. We're losing everything. And you thought lying to me, manipulating me, filing for guardianship. That was the solution, I thought. She looked up, and there were tears now. I thought you'd never know. I thought I could make it look like I was helping you, get what we needed, and everyone would be fine, everyone except me, living in a facility I don't need, with no home and no choices. I'm sorry. But it sounded hollow. Practiced. Maria leaned forward. Mrs. Richardson has some options here. We could file criminal charges for elder financial abuse. The guardianship petition alone could be considered fraud. The property documents show attempted theft. Jennifer's head snapped up. You wouldn't. I looked at my daughter. Really looked at her, and saw someone I didn't recognize anymore. Here's what's going to happen, I said. First, you're going to withdraw that guardianship petition today. Richard will accompany you to the courthouse to ensure it's done properly. She nodded, mute. Second, you're going to return your key to my house. All your keys, Mom. Third, we're going to family therapy, professional therapy, because I don't know how we got here, but we're not continuing like this. And if I don't, then Maria files every charge she mentioned, and you can explain to your children why their mother is facing criminal prosecution for trying to rob their grandmother. The fight went out of her. I never meant. I was just so desperate. Desperation doesn't excuse abuse, Jennifer. And yes, this was abuse, she cried. Real tears this time, not the practiced kind. And part of me wanted to comfort her, the way I'd done all her life. But a larger part of me knew that's how we'd gotten here. Too much comforting. Too much enabling. Too much allowing her to avoid consequences. Richard and Maria helped her to her car. She handed over her keys without meeting my eyes. We'll see you at the courthouse in an hour, Richard told her. Don't be late. After they left, I stood in my kitchen, in my house that no one was taking from me, and finally let myself shake. Maria had stayed behind. Are you okay? She asked gently. I don't know. Ask me in a year. You did the right thing. These cases, when we catch them this early, the victim usually doesn't want to press charges. Too much guilt. Too much family loyalty. I have limits. I just found out where they are. Will you really do the therapy? I looked out at my garden, at the roses Tom and I had planted. I have to try. She's still my daughter, but on my terms now, not hers. Maria packed her folder. Call me if you need anything, or if she causes any more problems. After everyone left, I walked through my house. Each room held memories. Tom teaching Jennifer to play chess in the den, her 16th birthday party in the backyard, Christmas mornings by the fireplace, 40 years of life, compressed into walls and floors and photographs. She'd been willing to take all of it, to package it up and sell it and pretend it was for my own good. My phone buzzed, a text from Sarah. Heard through the grapevine what happened. You okay? Need anything? I smiled. Real friends. That's what I needed. People who saw me as a person, not as an asset to be managed or a problem to be solved. I'm good, I texted back. Free for lunch tomorrow? Absolutely. Your treat, you just saved yourself about ba-chunk. That evening, I made myself dinner. Real dinner. Not the simple meals Jennifer had implied were all I could handle. Coq au vin, Tom's favorite. I ate it at the table by the window, watching the sunset paint my garden gold. My phone rang. Jennifer. I almost didn't answer. Then I did. I withdrew the petition, she said. No preamble. Richard was there. It's done. Good. Mom, I really am sorry. I know you are. Sorry you got caught. That's not... She stopped. Yeah, maybe that's part of it. I don't know anymore. The therapy starts next week. Tuesday at 10. I've already made the appointment. You'll be there. I'll be there. And Jennifer? If you ever try something like this again, if you ever lie to me, manipulate me, or treat me like I'm incompetent, I won't give you another chance. Silence. Then, quietly, I understand. After we hung up, I sat with my coffee and my memories. I thought about all the ways we hurt the people we love, all the ways we justify it, all the ways we convince ourselves that cruelty can be kindness if we just frame it right. But mostly I thought about the moment when I'd realized I wasn't going to be a victim, when I'd decided that being someone's mother didn't mean accepting their abuse, when I'd understood that love without boundaries isn't love at all, it's just permission to be hurt. The lawyers had been Richard's idea, actually. Bring me, he'd said. But bring Maria, too. Let her see that you're not alone, not confused, not someone who can be taken advantage of. She said, I didn't need a lawyer. Then prove her wrong. Prove her very, very wrong. And I had. My phone lit up with a text from my sister in Colorado. Jennifer just called me crying, said you ambushed her with lawyers. Want to tell me your side? I smiled and typed back. She said I didn't need a lawyer. I brought two. Want the whole story? Absolutely. Call me. So I did. I told her everything. The manipulation, the lies, the guardianship petition, the confrontation, all of it. I'm proud of you, my sister said when I finished. I know that wasn't easy. It was the easiest hard thing I've ever done. What do you mean? I mean, I spent months doubting myself, wondering if maybe she was right. Maybe I was forgetting things. Maybe I did need help. Maybe I was being stubborn and difficult. I looked around my kitchen, my home, my life. Turns out I was right to trust myself. I'm not perfect, but I'm not incompetent, and I'm certainly not someone who needs to be managed. You never were. That night, I slept better than I had in months. No more wondering if my daughter was right about me. No more second-guessing my own judgment. No more accepting treatment that made me feel small. I'd brought two lawyers to a conversation my daughter said I didn't need one for. And in doing so, I'd saved my home, my independence, and my dignity. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for someone is refuse to let them hurt you. Even when that someone is your own child. Even when it breaks your heart to set that boundary. Especially then. 3 weeks later, Jennifer and I sat in a therapist's office. Dr. Palmer was in her 50s, calm and direct. So, Jennifer, she said, after we'd each given our version of events, why do you think you're here? Because my mother is punishing me. Dr. Palmer turned to me. Is that true? No. We're here because I love my daughter, and I want us to have a relationship, but not the relationship we've had for the past 6 months. Which was what? Dr. Palmer asked Jennifer. She was quiet for a long time. Then, I treated her like she was stupid, like she couldn't handle her own life, like I knew better. Why? Because I needed something from her, and it was easier to make her think she was the problem than to admit I was. It was the first fully honest thing I'd heard from her in months. That must have been difficult to admit, Dr. Palmer said. Everything's difficult right now. Jennifer looked at me. Really looked at me. I'm sorry, Mom. For real this time. Not sorry I got caught. Sorry I did it. That's a start, I said. We had a long way to go. Maybe we'd make it, maybe we wouldn't. But for the first time, we were at least being honest about where we were. As I drove home that day, I passed the senior living community Jennifer had mentioned, the one I supposedly had a reservation at. On impulse, I pulled in. It was nice enough, clean, well-maintained, activities calendar posted in the lobby, and absolutely not where I belonged. I thought about all the people who did live there, some by choice, some by necessity, some because their families made decisions for them. I wondered how many had been given real choices, how many had lawyers who showed up when they needed them. I drove home to my house, my garden, my life. Made myself dinner, called a friend, read a book, ordinary things, precious things, things Jennifer had almost taken from me. But the key word there was almost. She'd said, I didn't need a lawyer. I'd brought two, and that, as it turned out, made all the difference.